Hey everybody, welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Scott and H1Z1 is blowing up on the PS4. Last I checked, it's got almost close to 5 million users, and it seems to be Sony's answer to Xbox running away with the PUBG crowd. To be honest, it's a pretty solid alternative to Fortnite. If you've been playing Epic's game for months and you're all used to the cartoony sort of way that game feels, swapping over to H1Z1 and having a go at really maximizing the tactility of headshots and utilizing vehicles and really crunching down on camouflage and different tactics to win, it's a really different feel. It's a different approach to Battle Royale, and it's something that a lot of people on PS4 might not even have tried if they haven't had a chance to have a go at PUBG. Basically, I've been playing H1Z1 pretty much nightly since it came out, and I absolutely love it. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can get to the top, and I'm going to share them with you. This is H1Z1, 14 tips and tricks the game doesn't tell you.
But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Ding, ding, done.
Number 14, you can swap seats to hide from and ambush other players when in cars. Now this is very easy to do. You just tap X to switch your position when inside a car, going from driver's seat to passenger, and if you've got a Jeep, you'll actually hop into the back. But the way that the game animates this is that it doesn't, and it means that you walk from seat to seat. It's always in the same order, so you're kind of going to want to experiment with the way that your character will move from seat to seat. If it's the Jeep, then it's driver's seat, passenger seat, and all three options in the back. When you get this down though, it means that you can pretty much ambush players because the vast majority of them won't actually check the back seats. It also means that you can evade fire by tapping X to warp around your car and avoid the bullets that are coming in, hopefully letting you return fire at the same time. Number 13, what all of that radio static is all about. Now this one's very simple. You might think that the whole idea of radial audio pointing you towards some sort of loot or chest is something that Fortnite pioneered, but it actually appeared in H1Z1 first. In this latest build, we have radio static being the thing that you'll just hear as you start exploring the world, and it means that a military supply crate is nearby. Keep an eye out, start moving towards when the noise gets louder, and eventually you'll track it down. Some of the best weapons in the game are located in these crates, and at some point in the match you're going to need to seek them out. Chances are they're located above you, so if you started running around and the noise is at its maximum volume level, or what, it really sounds like you're on top of the thing, chances are it's actually above you. Just try and look for some stairs or any way to get above where you are, and you'll hopefully find it. Number 12, smoke grenades extinguish Molotov spread. Now you might have picked up a handful of smoke grenades on your travels. They're actually quite popular in the map, and one of the best things to do with these things is to throw them directly into the incendiary passage of fire that's spreading right in front of you. Weirdly, in like a physics breaking, science discarding way, smoke completely wipes out fire, and you can just negate a Molotov cocktail right there and then. Number 11, helmets block headshots. Once. So as I found out when taking on a player in some very close quarters, going for a headshot when they have a helmet on doesn't matter. It's kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 where you'd ping a guy in the helmet and instead of them being killed, the helmet just flies off. It's just that. If you want to try and survive a headshot, wear a helmet. It's kind of that simple. Number 10, leave vehicles at full speed to create missiles. Now this is something that a hell of a lot of games have used, from Halo to PUBG, but when you're going at full speed and you leap out of a vehicle in H1Z1, until they patch it, and hopefully they don't, you don't suffer any physical damage or any damage whatsoever, encouraging you to ramp up acceleration to full speed and just plow your vehicle into whatever the hell's in front of you. It makes for some easy kills, it allows you to space out some players if you need to get in front of them, and it also means that you can use them as distractions. Many times I've come across another player and started to drive past them only to tap triangle to leap out. The car obviously keeps going, they keep firing at the vehicle, and immediately you've got an open shot that you can just use. Really, this is a kind of ridiculous game-breaking thing, but it's really fun. Number 9, there's a handier way to shoot through fences. Now this actually came from fellow YouTuber King Plays, who found out that the crossbar at the top of the fences lines up with the height of the average player. Well, all players will have the same character model, meaning that whenever you're fighting someone and they duck behind a fence, just aim for that crossbar. Try and obviously guess where they're going to be standing, and you'll nail a really easy headshot. Number 8, going prone, camouflage and dodging bullets. Going prone is totally underrated. The vast majority of players don't realize that when you aim in H1Z1, because it brings the gun up in first person, going prone means you can just dodge under someone's viewpoint. It makes for a really, really easy way to return fire, knowing that in those quintessential seconds of someone trying to get a bead on you, you've already started to fire back. Also, when it comes to camouflage, real-world rules apply, meaning you should duck into some shrubbery or try and get behind something that matches the color of what you're wearing, anything like that. This is totally a tactic that a lot of PUBG players use. They'll crouch down and hem themselves into the corner of some world geometry, or make a point of just getting lost amongst the world design in general. You want to take this across into H1Z1 too. Think of your environment kind of the same way that we once thought of the world in Metal Gear Solid 3. If you're wandering into some field of tall grass, hunker down, go prone, crouch, make yourself as invisible as possible. Unlike Fortnite, you don't stick out anywhere near as much as you might think. Number 7, all vehicles have nitro boost. Now maybe you already knew this, but I totally didn't. When I first started playing, I saw people in the Jeeps on the ATVs flying past me using these nitro boost power flames that were coming out of the exhaust. Turns out if you press L1 when in any vehicle, the Jeep or the cop car or whatever, you can totally just do a nitro boost as well. It's a great way to restore acceleration if you've been checking the map, because the game doesn't maintain you holding R2 to accelerate when you're looking at it. So basically just press L1 and you can get right back up to full speed in seconds. Number 6, what the backpacks do. How to unlock more inventory slots. In a much more simplified version compared to something like PUBG, where you actually have carry weight and, numeracies to keep track of, H1Z1 just has 2 levels of backpack. You start off with 2 inventory slots when you hold L1, and when you pick up backpack level 1, it'll add the top slot with backpack level 2, unlocking the bottom one. It's as simple as that. This is the way that you unlock more inventory slots, even though the game doesn't really point this out. Number 5, why supply crates matter. Just like the military crates that you can seek out by listening out for radio static, supply crates also have some of the most important and most devastating weapons in the game. They're nearly always the thing that it comes down to when you're in the final 10. Some player will have a 2-star or 3-star rifle, and it'll just be them laying waste to the remainder of who's left. You can actually see which crates are worthwhile by the color emanating from above. As far as I know, purple is the best one, but feel free to shout out in the comments if I'm wrong. Number 4, use vehicles to get on top of garages and rooftops. Now this doesn't work for every single building in the game, but the vast majority of the ones in the more suburban areas have little garages that are lower to the ground. So if you park up a Jeep, or I think it even works with a cop car, you can basically jump up onto the garage and then again onto the top of a roof. It's a really effective way to gain a useful vantage point, especially if you've managed to snag a sniper rifle or anything that works at long range. Even the crossbow is pretty good from on high. It just means you can blow away people from far away. Now this might take a few attempts to actually mesh the game's animation with getting it up onto a roof. I've had the game freak out and the legs freak out a bit when you try and get to like a slightly higher rooftop, but I had way more success going with the garages. And if you need to, you can actually do a stationary jump where you press X first and then move, and your character kind of does a more animated leap that lets you float through the air. Look, I mean, it's a thing. It's very gamey. You'll kind of get a feel for it after you've tried it a few times, and maybe don't be surprised if they end up patching this out. But for now, get up there and, rain down fire from above. Number 3, your clothing matters. Now I touched upon this before, but really your clothing matters. Go into your gear screen and equip stuff that is the lowest color possible. You kind of want to blend into everything. You can get camouflage tops and pants, you can wear black gloves, you can wear black backpacks instead of the blue ones that you pick up. Really make a point of theming your character around something that you think will be useful when you're in the field. I tend to go for something that means I can blend into the environment. So really employ that mentality and see what you can come up with. Number 2, you don't need multiple passenger seats to transport your entire crew. Now this is another one that kind of breaks the physics of the world, but unlike something like GTA, where if you try to stand on the roof of a car, you'll just fall off because Rockstar didn't program it that way. In H1Z1, if you and any number of characters leap on top of a car, directly on top of the roof, whoever's driving can just ferry the whole crew from one place to the next. It's a great way of getting around, even though it looks dumb as hell, but to be honest, that also kind of makes it look great. Best of all, and again, it ties into the whole weird, half-broken way that the game kind of feels, there's pretty much an invisible platform that the game renders invisibly on top of a car. So whenever all of you guys are standing on top of it as it goes over hills and rocks and flies in any old directions, providing the car doesn't tip over altogether, you'll still be able to stand on it, even though the car is like freaking out underneath. It's, again, looks ridiculous, but hey, video games. And number 1, make sure to head into the practice mode before you go to Battle Royale. H1Z1's practice mode ensures that you'll have all sorts of firefights with other players. It basically means that you can get comfortable with actually engaging players one-on-one or one-on-two or whatever. It's unlike those other Battle Royale games because the only way that you can practice combat in the likes of Fortnite and PUBG is to wait until someone's right in front of you, or, wait until one of those altercations happens, and then it's more a case of, oh dear God, what the hell do I do? And things just kind of go from there. I would absolutely recommend spending a good 20 minutes, half an hour in the what can feel like an endless deathmatch mode, because you can experiment with all types of different weapons, the vehicles, different ways to approach combat, different ways that players are going to get the drop on you, how to respond to different people firing at you from different directions, going prone. Everything that I've mentioned, you can just practice for as long as you want without fear of losing your position in the overall 100.
Oh, wasn't that something? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below, and also the people who made this lovely video, they're appearing right here. But if you're thinking to yourself, I want to see more content, Jules, then why not look above my head, as there probably is some. I don't know. I can't see it. Until next time.